And we are live. Welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. This is your brother, Pianki Patah Muntu Neferamun Ra. We back with another powerful conversation between two powerful brothers. And today's topic is, why is Islam wrong? Why is Islam wrong? We got my brother, Google Scholar. We got the brother, Rabbi Lewis. And I'm going to let these brothers chop it up in just a minute. But before they do, let me get into my usual spiel. Let me say hotep to my fellow Kemetic brothers and sisters. Let me say God bless to my Christian brothers and sisters. Let me say Islam to my Moorish brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum to my brothers and sisters in the NOI. Let me say peace to my brothers and sisters in the nation of gods and earth. Shalom to my Hebrew brothers and sisters. Let me say what's up to my atheist brothers and sisters. And finally, I want to say Jumbo to the rest of my brothers and sisters throughout the African diaspora, be it here in the wilderness of the United States of America or beyond. Y'all know I say that greeting for one reason and one reason only. It's because if you're black, I'm with you. And I hope that you're with me. Our different ideologies should not keep us from uniting. And we can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable. And we can have unity without uniformity. With that being said, my brothers, it's on y'all.
Okay,
Rabbi
peace,
Lewis.
peace.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Peace and blessings to everyone that's tuning in. I having a conversation, a dialogue with the brother Rabbi Lewis tonight on Islam. We want to start and look at is Islam true, right? So Rabbi Lewis, you ready to go in?
Oh, we gotta do my introduction, but after you're done with your introduction.
No. Okay, so there's a variety of things in my opinion that make Islam not true.
Yo, bro, you wanna tell people who you are and all that, like what you believe in?
Oh, they know me already on this
Oh,
channel.
okay.
Okay. My name is Dennis. They call me the Google Scholar. Um, I used to be a Christian. Uh, I no longer am a Christian. I'm a non-believer now. And basically, these days I spend my free time on YouTube going against the Bible and the Quran because I've come to the conclusion that they're not the word of God and that they're not true. So that is the focus of tonight. Tonight is not the Bible, it's the Quran. And I think I have information to show that the Quran is not true. So we can go from there if you have something to say.
Old women Shaitan Rajim, Bismillah Rahman Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, especially merciful. I bear witness there's no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. Rabbi Lewis, aka Louis Islam, aka that real Islam. A little bit about me, a published author, bit over 30 books, you know. Yeah, check my work on Amazon, type in Rabbi Lewis. I'm a Muslim, former black Hebrew Israelite. Yeah.
All right.
All
All
right.
right. So basically, our brother's going to have an open discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, nothing nothing too crazy. They've chosen a particular topic for this particular section of the discussion, and they're gonna have 25 minutes to go back and forth on this particular topic. After this 25 minutes is up, we'll switch to a different area of Islam to discuss, and we'll go in for another 25 minutes. So, with that being said, let me set the timer. Time will start when you all start dialoguing.
Okay, so brother Rabbi Lewis, you believe that the Quran is true, right?
Yes.
Okay. We can start by using the benchmark that the Quran has set. If we go to Surah 4, Ayah 82, I'm reading from the Clear Quran translation. It says, "Do they not reflect on the Quran? Had it been from anyone other than Allah, they would certainly have found in it many inconsistencies." Do you have a problem with that translation?
No.
Okay. So basically, what this is saying, if the Quran is from anybody but Allah, we would find contradictions in it or inconsistencies. Now, I put it to you that there are many inconsistencies in the Quran, so that it could not be from Allah. So can we look at the first one?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
In Surah 96, verse 2, it says, man is created out of a mere clot of blood. Meanwhile, in Surah 15:26, it says man is created from sound and clay. So are these both true at the same time? And how can it be both true at the same time?
Right. Okay. Mashallah. Um, I have to look at those verses in context. You committed eisegesis. You just committed eisegesis. So
You can go to them.
I think it's
You
both. I think he was created from both. Like, just like in the biblical narrative where it says, and the last thing Jesus said was one thing. And the other verse says the last thing he said was something else. And then the other verse, in the gospel he said something else. When it's not one or the other, it's all those at the same time. So like I said, when Jesus said, it is done. In the other verse he says it is finished. In the other verse he says something else. But if you read it contextually, and I don't believe the New Testament personally, but if you read it in context, it's all those things in one. So I think that no matter of which one, drop of blood or black mud, I think it's a combination of both.
okay? But so you're saying it's a combination of both?
Yeah.
All right. So if we go to Surah 3:59, in that surah it said Adam was created from dust. Now that's that. So are you saying now it's three different things?
No, there was more than one Adam. Even in the Torah, there's more than one Adam. There was two Adams. So that would make sense why one Adam was made one thing, the other Adam was made something else in the narrative, in the Musaf, because there's multiple Adams. There wasn't just one Adam. Now, the New Testament has the burden of proof to say that it says there was one Adam, but it wasn't. The Torah says there was more than one Adam.
Okay, so all right. So let's forget about Adam. How about Surah 16, verse
Hold
4?
on, you kind of see this parallel, and like, what's the first thing? Proverbs chapter 8, verse 23, right?
I'm sorry?
In Proverbs 8 chapter, it says that wisdom was with God before mankind was created, correct? Proverbs 8:23.
Mm-hmm.
That lines up with the Quranic narrative. Because what is the first thing Allah created?
Well, according to the Quran, according to Islam, the first thing was a pen.
Yes, a talking pen. Yes, which that's why light was created on the first day, but then the sun was created on the fourth day because light represents wisdom. So when Allah said the first thing created was a talking pen, that is a great example because in the Torah it's the same thing. The first thing God created was wisdom, pursuing the Proverbs 8:23.
Yeah. All that I'm not disputing any of that, but I'm saying if one surah is saying he's created from blood, the other one from clay, and in Surah 16 it says from a drop of sperm.
I just
That's
explained that there
that's
was multiple Adams. It's not one Adam.
no,
The new,
but it didn't say
go ahead.
Adam. It said man. That's
Right,
why I
man.
left out.
What's the word for man there? What is the Arabic word for man there?
I'm not sure.
Come on, bro.
What do you mean?
You got to do better than that. You got to give me the Arabic word
No,
there.
no, no. We're not talking about Adam. We're
Bro, these
talking
are your
about man.
arguments. You didn't check to look for the Arabic when you created these arguments?
I don't speak Arabic. I rely on
I do
translation.
speak Arabic. But go ahead.
So no, but what are you saying? Are you saying the translation is wrong?
No, I'm saying there wasn't just one Adam. There was multiple Adams in the Torah.
No, but I said you need to forget about Adam.
Okay.
I
Okay, you
forget
said
about
man.
that
Excuse me. You're right. You said mankind, right?
mankind.
Yeah. What is the
Forget
word for
about that
mankind in
surah.
Arabic? What is the
Only,
word for?
I'm sorry?
What is in the Arabic in the classical Arabic? What is the word there for man? Mankind. That's the question.
Pull up your surah and look at it. I don't know. I'm reading the translation, like I
All right,
said.
we can keep it going, bro. Keep it moving, man, because you don't even know the Arabic word there. Like,
So
really?
so are you saying that the translation that I'm reading is wrong?
It's a translation. I read it wrong. You got to remember when you see something in bracket. A lot of times in the Quran, a lot of stuff is written in brackets. You know what brackets are, right?
Yes.
That means somebody's interpretation. A lot of
Yes.
times these Quranic interpretations, a lot of it's interpretation. That's why it's in brackets. That means somebody put that in there. It's not in the
How about we look? How about we look at the surah, because you're missing
Take your
what I'm
time,
saying.
bro. I just understand why you didn't have this ready when you present
No.
your arguments.
Bro,
Go ahead,
how
bro.
about we look at the surah? It doesn't matter if I look at the Arabic. I don't read Arabic, so I wouldn't know what it says. I'm relying on the translation. The translation says man. If you're saying it's a mistranslation, then you got to show me, prove to me that it's a mistranslation.
That's an argument from silence. We can go forward since you don't know the Arabic word there. We can move
No.
forward. You
This
just
is not
committed
an
an argument from silence.
This is not an argument from silence. I showed you 3 separate surah where it says man was created 3 different ways. You asked me what the Arabic word for man is. I said I don't know. I'm relying on the
What is the opening of the
translation.
What's the opening of the Fatiha? What's the first words that Allah Azza wa Jal proclaims in the Fatiha? Al-Fatiha. Walhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Walhamdulillah. Hold on, let me finish. Now you. Walhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, in plural. So there's multiple different worlds. Walhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, in plural.
Okay, Rabbi Lewis, I realize I got an accent, but I'm sure what I'm saying to you is clear. I have 3 different surahs that give 3 different ways how man was created.
Oh, didn't I just explain
Right?
that? There's multiple
Hold on. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
If I have 3 surahs which says man was created 3 different ways, I'm asking you, are you saying that man was created these 3 different ways, or is this 3 different ways a contradiction?
No, the Quran does not contradict itself under any circumstances. The Quran is perfect.
Explain to me how these 3 different ways is not a contradiction.
I just explained it to you. There was multiple mankind's. You do know what happened when Allah created humans, right? What happened when Allah, the jinn were like, yo, you know the jinn is, right? You know what the jinn is, right?
Yeah, but the jinn is not mankind.
But yeah, but what did Allah say in English? He said, I only created the jinn and the humans to worship me. That's why I created them. But anyway, the jinn were like, yo, what the hell are you doing? Excuse me, astaghfirullah. Allah forgive me for saying that. But the jinn was like, what are you doing, Allah? It's our turn to rule the planet. Why are you creating humans? Because we supposed to rule the planet. Would you agree with that?
I'm not even sure what we're talking about now, because the jinn has nothing
Before
to do with
Allah
mankind.
created humans, did not the jinn say, Allah, didn't they not complain to Allah as well, saying, is that correct? Am I wrong?
Yes, but the jinn are not human. There's only one mankind.
Okay, it's not true. What about the hadith where it says that Allah has created many worlds, and each one of those worlds, believe Allah only created them? You confirm with the hadith?
Okay,
it's in the 4 books. It's a Shia hadith.
What? It's a Shia hadith? I'm not aware of that hadith.
Yeah, it says that the floor said, Allah said, I've created many worlds, and each one of those worlds believe I only created them.
And what surah in the Quran does that correspond to?
No, this is in the 4 books. The 4 books is the 4 major hadiths, Shia hadiths. It's called the 4 books. But I yield the floor.
But the standard should be, if it's not backed up by the Quran, you disregard it, right?
I just gave you Surah Al-Fatiha, bro. I just quoted Surah Al-Fatiha. Did I not?
What in Surah Al-Fatiha tells you that the Quran was that there are several words?
I just repeated it 3 times. Allah said, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I give all praise to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, in plural. The word there is the plural form of the word world. So,
all right. I don't think you answered my question, but let's move on. In terms of contradiction, in Surah 22, Surah 2, verse 256, it says that there should be no compulsion in religion, right?
Compulsion, what do you mean?
Compulsion mean you should not force someone into any religion.
Oh, you mean like fard? You mean like fard, right?
What do you mean?
Would that be like equivalent to fard?
I still not understand you.
Fard, Arabic word fard.
What does that word mean?
Fard means compulsory, something you have to do religiously. It's compulsory.
No. When he said there's no compulsion in religion, what he's talking about is that you as a Muslim should not force somebody to convert to Islam and another person should not force you to convert to their religion. It should be a free choice. That's what it's talking about.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay. So you agree with that?
No,
Okay. So can you read Surah 2, verse 256?
I'm not on my laptop, but I do know it's called making dawah. Dawah is proselytization. So to say that proselytization is makruh or haram is ridiculous because it's called making dawah. Dawah.
No, I said nothing about proselytization. I said compulsion, forcing somebody.
Okay, well, the Maccabees forced the Edomites to convert. I don't know. You're not a Christian. Well, my bad. I won't keep using biblical references. Maybe we should do on Black Israelites, but the Maccabees forced the Jews, the Edomites to convert, forced them to convert.
Okay,
But
let me read it for you from the clear Quran
yeah,
translation.
sure.
It says, "Let there be no compulsion in religion, for the truth stands out clearly from falsehood. So whoever renounces false gods and believe in Allah has certainly grasped the firmest, unfailing, and hold, and Allah is all-knowing and all-hearing." So basically, that first line said, "Let there be no compulsion in religion." So there should be no compulsion. Everything should be by choice. It should be the choice of the individual. If you go to Surah 9, verse 3, I'll read Surah 9, verse 3 too, because in that Surah, it's saying there should be compulsion. Now, let me get to the Surah. Let me pull it up real quick. All right, so Surah 9, verse 3 says, "A declaration from Allah and His Messenger is made to all people of the greater pilgrimage that Allah and His people, that Allah and His Messenger are free of the polytheists. So if you pagans repent, it'll be better for you. But if you turn away, then know that you have no escape from Allah, and give good news, O Prophet, to the disbelievers of a painful punishment." So, on one hand, the Quran is saying there should be no compulsion in religion. And on this side, this surah is saying that the disbelievers and the polytheists, if they don't accept Allah, then there'll be a punishment. So, isn't that a contradiction?
No, lie. It's like in the Bible where it says in Jeremiah 31, Hashem said he would make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah because the kingdom has
Hmm.
split after Solomon died. And he said, I will write the laws in the inward parts and no man shall teach his neighbor, right? But then you go to Micah chapter 4, it says the Gentiles are coming up to learn from the Hebrews about how to worship Hashem or worship God. So one narrative says the Gentiles will come up to learn. The other narrative says that no one's going to teach his neighbor. So contextually, when it says no one's going to teach their neighbor, obviously this doesn't mean amongst all people. Just like the Bible says, what was his name? Oh boy, I forgot his name. He said he was revered of all men. What's his name? Not Nicodemus. I forgot his name, but it says he was revered of all men. But of course,
Hmm.
not everybody didn't know who this guy was. So when it says all men, contextually, it doesn't mean every person on the planet knew who this guy was and had a good rapport with him. It just means his figurative speech. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Bible is in no place says that there should be no compulsion in religion. So the analogy you're making doesn't make sense. The Quran has two separate ideas. It shouldn't even matter what the Bible says. You have to speak to these contradictions. But let's move to another one. I have a question for you. Does Allah forgive or not forgive those who worship false gods?
Right. So, Shabir Ali, who's a scholar, PhD, he has
I
two
know who
opinions on
Shabir
this.
Ali is.
Yeah, Shabir has two opinions about this. Like where it says that you should go to if you commit shirk, you're going to hell forever. He disagrees with that hermeneutically. He says in his work how forever doesn't like somebody says you take it forever. So saying like it's not literal, but and there's a surah where it says that people, the disbelievers will be in Gehenna, the hellfire, for as long as the earth remains. You feel what the hadith, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So the hadith says that the people will remain in hellfire until the earth is destroyed. I think something like that to that effect. So yeah. So that answers that. So when people go to hell forever, according to Bailey's work, no, people don't go to hell forever as long as the earth exists. I believe it says in the hadith in the Quran. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he didn't say they're gonna be there forever.
So they're gonna be in hell for a time. Is that what you're saying?
According to Bailey's work, his exegesis, I trust his work.
Yeah.
He quoted an
Now,
excellent book too. I forgot the name of the book. He has a show called "Let the Quran Speak." I think that's his wife, right?
who?
Yeah, Shibeli show Let the Quran Speak on YouTube. Shibeli has a YouTube channel called "Let the Quran Speak." Him and his wife. I think it's his wife or his sister. I'm pretty sure it's his wife. Anyway, where he does like talks on like controversial issues in the Quran in the Sunnah.
Okay. I don't I know Shabir Ali. If he's saying that this is talking about a temporary stay in hell, I disagree with him wholeheartedly. Let me go ahead and read Surah 448 for you. It says, indeed, Allah does not forgive associating others with him in worship, but forgive anything else whoever he wills, and whoever associates others with Allah has indeed committed a grave sin. But the first sentence or the first line says, Allah does not forgive anyone who commits shirk. And that's the end of the sentence. There's no if, ands, or buts.
You know,
If you
I
commit
remember my Arabic teacher, Sheikh Abu Toba, right?
no, Surah Nisa, chapter
Yeah,
4.
Sheikh Abu Toba, he was crying. My Arabic teacher, instructor, he was
Yeah.
crying because his mom had died of kafir. Because in Islam, if you die of kafir, you can't pray for people. But you know there's something that you can do, right?
Yeah.
You know what Sadaqah Jariyah is, right?
Yeah, go ahead. No, I don't understand why you brought that up.
What is Sadaqah Jariyah?
Who?
Sadaqah Jariyah.
I don't know. I don't know about that. What are you talking about?
Sadaqah Jariyah is the Arabic for continuous charity. One of the things that after you die, you go to the grave, right?
The
One of the things
punishment
that
of the grave?
no, but not the punishment. Yeah, yes, if you will, yeah.
Yeah, I know about that.
One of the things that follows you after death is Sadaqah Jariyah, which means continuous charity. So let's say you made a donation to a mosque to build the masjid, right? Those good deeds of building the masjid will follow you after death, and it will determine if you go to Jannah or not. That will be a big deciding factor. So
Yeah, but Rabbi Lewis,
yeah,
I'm sure you understand what I'm saying.
yeah,
It
I understand what
says
you're saying. Shabi Ali said
Allah
that.
forgives not. It didn't say there is a circumstance where Allah can forgive, or it didn't say in some cases. It's a blanket statement. Allah will not forgive you if you commit shirk. That's that's basic. You can't get to, yeah, it says that, but it doesn't really mean that because that's the direct words of the Quran. Now, if somebody is saying something else, they're doing what you call bid'ah. You know what bid'ah is?
Innovation.
Okay. All right. So we agree on that. Can we agree that whoever is changing the meaning of that is doing innovation?
You have a second surah to
Oh,
back
you
up
mean
that
the
surah?
one that says that Allah will forgive you even if you commit shirk?
Yeah. You have another surah that says that Allah won't forgive?
No, I have that. That's the one that says He won't forgive. But the one that says He will forgive is Surah 4:153. It's even the same surah.
Okay. What's the Arabic word for forgive there?
I don't know what the Arabic is. I told you before. I,
Okay.
I I rely on the translation because I'm not an Arabic
Yeah, this
speaker.
brings me back to a dialogue James White, the apologist, Alpha Omega, had with Wakashi African of Christ Church. He was like, yo, like, because they use the blue letter Bible. It's kind of like what you're doing. They rely on the blue letter Bible translation. He was like, yo, like, dude, they was laughing at Ricard, like, yo, like, can't use that as a source. Like, you got to be careful because, like, bro,
I haven't used a source. The only thing I haven't even gone to an hadith yet. The only thing I've done is read the Quran.
you have
Now
to go
I
back and
asked.
study the Arabic. You got to go back and study the
No, no,
Arabic,
no,
bro.
no, 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 no. I don't
I
have
think
to.
what you need to do, Google Scholar. You're a smart guy. I respect you, but you need to go back and study the Arabic, man. That's
No,
what
no,
my
no,
teacher.
bro. I can if I want to. I don't want to. This is my
You
point.
need to. You need to though.
No, no. I need
If
you
you want
to
to be
say
honest
to
with
me,
yourself, you need to go
bro.
back and study the Arabic.
Listen to what I'm saying.
You
I
got
need
the
you to be. I need you to say to me that translation that you're reading is wrong. It's a wrong translation.
3.5 minutes, brothers. Three
But
and a
you're
half
not
minutes.
saying that. You're saying that I need to study Arabic. I'm saying I'm relying on the translation. If the translation is wrong, go ahead and say that translation is wrong. Can we do that?
Sure, brother. That translation is wrong.
Okay.
Okay, because bro, like, you got to go back and study the Arabic. That's what my teacher always taught us. I
All
took.
right.
Go ahead, bro.
Let's go to the Arabic because we only have 3 minutes. We don't want to waste it.
All right.
Who is Allah?
Sorry, say that again.
Who is Allah?
Where is he?
Who is he? Or I don't want to say what, but sure. What is he?
Al Ilah. Ilah means God. Al Ilah. Allah means the God. So when you say Allah, you're saying linguistically there's no God but Allah. You're literally proclaiming that He's the only God.
But isn't Allah also the name of your God?
It's not a name. In fact, my buddy, who's a black Muslim, he has a dictionary of gods, like a dictionary of, like, with all the gods in it. And Allah's not even in the dictionary because Allah's not a name. It's a title.
Okay, so now you know Arabic, right? I don't.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you to break down this word for me in English. Alhamdulillah.
All praise due to Allah.
Okay, so let's break down the word because it's a compound word, right? It's made up of different words. Okay. What does al mean in English?
All praise, all, like all.
All. And ham.
Praise.
Praise. Because the root word of praise is ham, right?
Yes.
What does do? Because ham and do is a part of ham, so that's the praise part, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that,
no.
Li. What does li mean?
It's a form, a declarative form of the word Allah. A declarative form, which depends on what form you're in.
No, you're wrong about that. I thought you said you're Arabic. You knew Arabic. Li in Arabic means two.
Right, I said two. I said that.
Yes. So why are you saying it's a definitive form of Allah? Li means two.
Yeah, I said two before I said that.
Okay. So let's break down the word now. Al.
Bro, what's your point, bro? What's your point, man? Make your point. Like, you got 2 more minutes.
I'm making the point. I'm making the point. Calm down. Al is al, right? The ham, praise, or hamdu, praise. Li, two. La, that's the name of your God. Alhamdulillah. Yes. The name of your God is La, not
correct.
Allah.
That's correct. Allah is the God. Allah is God. Allah is the God. So you say Allah, you're saying there's no God but Allah. That's what you're saying. You're declaring that when you say Allah. You're negating the linguistic as any other God.
So the name of your God is La. Now,
Ilah,
if you go to
Ilah.
No. Ilah is the God. Let's get it straight. Ilah is the God. Your God name is La. And if you go to the pantheon of Arabic pagan Arabic gods, La is the moon god. It has 3 daughters.
La is the moon god.
La, Lat, Uzza, and Manat.
Oh, okay.
Are you aware of that?
Of course I'm aware of that. That's bogus. I debunked it. I wrote a book called African Origins of the Judamas and the Holy Prophets, which I had debunked that moon god crap thoroughly.
No, but Allah is the moon god.
No, he's not. That's bogus.
All right, brothers, that's time. That's time. Do y'all want to keep going with this for another 10, 15 minutes, or y'all want to move to a different topic?
If he wants to move, I already got my point that I've shown the contradictions in the Quran. I didn't think he gave a sufficient answer for the contradictions. I've also proved to him that he's actually worshiping a pagan god. So Islam is not from the true God. If he's saying the God of the Jews is the true God, and if he wants to add something more to that, he can. If not, we can move on.
All right, what you
Before we
want to
move
do,
on,
Rabbi Lewis?
let's move on. Before we move on, if I can say one thing, Bianchi,
Go ahead.
you can say my buddy, my mentor, he's a black Israelite. He has a dictionary of gods. It's called the Dictionary of Gods. And Allah's not even in there. Allah's not in there because Allah is not a name. It's a title. So this you do see Yahweh, you see other names, you see Elah. You don't see Allah.
What dictionary is that?
No, it's a I don't remember the name of it. It's got a big red dragon on the front of it. But it's
So
called it's a
you don't
dictionary.
know the name of the dictionary?
No, but he showed it to me. I have it in my
So
text.
why bring it up?
That's argument for silence. But
Yeah. I mean, we can. If you go to secular scholarship, Brother Bianchi, and you look up pagan Arabian gods, one of the gods is gonna be the god La.
okay.
That's where allies come from. I agree
Okay.
with him that al is the definite article. It means they, but Allah is actually what the Muslims did is that they repurposed the moon god Allah into their god, but it is the moon god.
No. That crescent star and moon flag is a late flag. You don't see that flag to the Ottoman Empire. That flag you see today with the crescent moon symbol, with the
Yeah,
star,
no,
which
I'm not.
is Venus. That's
Hmm.
that flag is created like I think like the 1500s. That is not an old flag.
No,
That
I'm
flag
not
is not
I'm
old.
not denying that.
Okay,
That's why
so
you have in the surah what they refer to as the satanic verses, where Muhammad is saying that the three daughters of Allah, that their intercession is to be hoped for.
To be what?
Their intercession is to
Uh,
be hoped for. He's
hope for
basically praising the three daughters of Allah.
in the Quran, in the
Yes, you
Hadith.
never heard of the satanic verses before?
Of course, I heard it. Yeah, I heard of the three moon goddesses. I heard of that. But you said, Rasulullah said that to put your hope into the three moon goddesses. That you just said. Rasulullah said that.
Yes, it's in the Hadith.
Oh, it's in the Hadith. Okay, I'm in the Quran. You
Yes,
confused me. You got me confused.
no,
Okay.
it's do you have you ever heard of the book what's the name of this book again? The reason for the verse to come down.
What's the name of the book?
Uh the book translated in English is the reason for the verses to come down. It's called Asbab al Nuzul.
Who wrote that?
What was it? It was early Muslim scholar. I don't remember the name right. I could look it up real
Yeah, of
quick,
course, all
but
good, bro. Now we keep moving, bro. When you get
yeah,
it presented, and like I said,
yeah,
when I
but
find because I can't, I'm on
but
my phone. If I
yeah,
couldn't,
but
I would go on my pictures and show you the picture of the book where Allah's name is not even in the dictionary, it's the dictionary of the gods.
well
Allah's name not even
when
in
you
it.
get the name of that dictionary, we'll go ahead and pull that up. In the
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
meantime, what's the next topic?
Google Scholar can pick the next time.
Oh, the next topic we want to talk about is, was Muhammad a white man with black slaves?
All right. That's a good one. Let me set the timer. Timer start when y'all start dialoguing.
So, according to Muslim sources, early Muslim sources, there is sufficient evidence that they saw Muhammad as a white man, not white as in European, but is that he was a fairly light-skinned Arabic man. That seems clear in the early Islam sources. Now I'm aware that there are a few people that try to refute this, and they give answers which I feel are not sufficient. For example, Rabbi Lewis, in his book that I read today, he has a quote from a unnamed European soldier who said that the Mohammedans had a picture of Muhammad on their shield and that he was a black man. But when you look at the sources, there's two things to say about that. Is that the first thing is they didn't have an actual picture. What they had was what they call an effigy, and two, when Europeans, especially Western Europeans, use the word black, they're not necessarily talking about black as in black African. They're just talking about darker people. They call all darker people black. But we can get into that if Rabbi Lewis want to offer his counteraction to that.
Real
Yeah.
quick, Google Scholar, for those of us that's working with slow gases, what is an effigy versus a portrait or a picture?
An effigy is more similar to a sculpture. It's something carved.
Got you. So that wouldn't necessarily be accurate. That would be more of an
Yeah,
idealistic image. Is that correct?
yeah.
Got
Hold
you.
on, hold on. Let me give it a source for that to respond if I could. Google Scholar.
I just wanted to be clear.
Yeah, Google
It's
Scholar.
in
Can I
your
respond to
book,
that?
Rabbi Lewis.
Go ahead, Rabbi Lewis.
Yeah.
It's in your book.
Yeah, I know. It's in my book. Yeah, actually, the source of that is Deborah Strickland or Deborah Reynolds. She's a PhD in Christian artwork. So the source for Muhammad on the Shield comes from a scholar who's a PhD in Christian artwork. She's an artwork PhD. Just give me some perspective. Go ahead.
Okay, but she is a scholar from artwork. But let's go back and look at some of the hadith of the earliest Muslims, right? Do you disagree with me that the hadith has Muhammad as a white man?
Of course, I disagree with that, bro. If you read my book that you bought today, if people are not privy, it's called my book he bought was called what's it called again? Nah, seriously. Proof Muhammad existed. An academic response to Robert Spencer. Robert Spencer said Muhammad didn't exist because there was no coins with him on it during the Umayyad Caliphate. Correct?
Yeah.
So Spencer's whole hermeneutic is that, well, yeah, there's no coins with Muhammad on them, just Allah on the coin, earlier coins, which I totally debunked in the book. So check the book out. But let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I disagree with that. But who's the father of modern chronology?
Who's the founder of what?
Modern chronology.
I don't know.
Scaliger. Joseph Scaliger. Now, Scalinger's dates have been proven to be erroneous. He's one all the textbooks use as the standard of history. His dates have all been proven to be totally bogus and made up history. Okay? So when you say the earliest hadith say this and that, you know, but go ahead. Well, like I said, Scaliger is a father of modern chronology. His dates have all been proven to be wrong. You do know the white boy who said that he was white? You know what his name was, right?
What white boy?
Matthew Fredrickson Denny. He's the one all the Islamic textbooks use. The Western textbooks use. And he said Muhammad was white. His name was Matthew Fredrickson Denny. He wrote a book. What's the name of that book he wrote? It's in my book. You remember the name he wrote? Book he wrote?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, but Matthew Fredrickson Denny is what all the scholars use to say Muhammad was white, which I debunked in the book. But
I'm not even on about any book. I'm talking about the hadith.
the hadith.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk hadith. Go ahead.
The earliest documentation from Islam are the hadiths, right?
Who's the only companion of the Prophet to be mentioned in the Quran? Maybe I could be wrong.
Ali.
No, it wasn't Ali, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't it Uthman? No, not Uthman.
Oh.
Zayd ibn Thabit, wasn't it?
Oh, you mean? Oh, I okay.
Wasn't it Zayd ibn Thabit? I could be wrong.
Because Zayd was the secretary of Muhammad.
Yeah, his name was Zayd ibn Thabit. I think he's the only Sahaba mentioned in the Quran. If I'm not, I could be mistaken. Don't quote me, family. I could be wrong. Is that true?
Well, I'm not sure. It's been a while since I read the Quran.
You got the floor.
But I don't understand how does that affect the point that I'm making. The point I'm making is that the earliest sources of Islam are describing Muhammad as a white man.
But it's a scholar named Bernard Lewis. He's a PhD, I believe. He said, not me, Lewis. Another scholar named Lewis, Bernard Lewis. He shows in his work how all the anti-African sentiment in Islam is actually attributed to later periods historically. So when you start seeing anti-African sentiment in Islam, that doesn't start happening till Umayyad Caliphate fell to the Abyssinians. When the Abyssinians took over.
To the Abbasids.
Yeah, the Abbasids. They took over after the Umayyads. Umayyads were black people. So Abbasid took over.
How are the Umayyads black people?
They were black. The Umayyad was certainly black, unapologetically black. This is a book called by Stanley Poole, The Moors in Spain. I believe it was called by what's his first name? He's a scholar. Stanley Poole's work, The Moors in Spain. He shows how the Umayyad. Go ahead.
Let's look at this rationally. So you're saying that Muhammad was a black man?
But in all terms of the word, yes, correct.
And he was a black man that had black slaves.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's easy to explain. It's easy to elaborate on. But go ahead. Like that's
So
easy
how
to
is
explain why he had black slaves.
No, it doesn't really matter why he had black slaves.
Okay, it's because the Shemites and the Hamites were black. The Shemites looked down on the Hamites. They were all black. They all have dark skin. But the Shemites looked down on the Hamites and looked at them as dirty. You know?
No, that's you're getting into Bible stuff now. I don't believe in any of that.
Well, what about Rabbi Eliezer? Rabbi Eliezer said the Shem was blessed, black but comely, correct? Rabbi Eliezer?
Who?
Rabbi Eliezer said, he's a rabbi, he said...
No, I think you're misunderstanding me. That stuff is the Bible stuff. It's not real. It's made up.
Show proof.
Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Do you have any evidence at all that there was a person called Shem, Ham, and Japheth? Anything apart from the Bible?
Of course, there was actually a book called Cosmo Bible Oaspi by...
I'm sorry?
Oaspi. Cosmo Bible Oaspi, which is a book. Who wrote that book? He was a doctor. He wrote a book called Cosmo Oaspi, which is very well quoted. He goes to Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Were actually historical, you know.
Okay, so all the hadiths that said Muhammad was a white man, you dismiss those hadiths, right?
Of course, Bernard Lewis said they belong to a time of later history.
No, but
yes.
But what if I can show you that these hadiths are earlier than the ones that you're saying?
Go ahead, I'm listening, bro. Go ahead, bro.
No, I'm saying the hadiths that say Muhammad was white, they're earlier than the ones that you're using to say he was black. So why do you accept the later?
What about Rumi? What about Rumi, the poet, who was a Persian, who said Muhammad was black? And that you hate Muhammad and his pure progeny because of their black skin. Rumi was a white boy himself, who was a Persian. He wasn't even black. Wasn't Rumi a Persian?
Who?
Rumi.
I'm not aware of that person.
You don't know who Rumi is?
No, I don't know who Rumi is.
Are you kidding me? Rumi was one of the biggest Islamic poets in history. Like, he said, hey, you guys hate Muhammad and his pure progeny. Hey,
okay, but that's separate from and has nothing to do with my point. My point that I'm trying to make is I have Muslims, the very earliest Muslim sources saying Muhammad was white. I have your sources coming after saying he was black. So why should I listen to your sources instead of listening to the earlier sources?
Right, sure thing. So the Hebrew Israelites like to quote, what's that book? 1 second. Not the name of that book they like to quote, but it says the Jews were black. Now, a lot of these writings were written in French, so word for black in French is basanti. I brought this out before, which means a tan, pale complexion. But the book translates. What's the name of that book? That book the Hebrew Israelites like to use. So I have to go back in my office, but it says the Jews were black in the book, right? But it's written in French. So the word for black there is basanti, which means, you guys hear me?
I'm listening.
Basanti means a pale skin complexion, but the book translates from French as black. But it doesn't mean black like we see black today. It means a tan, pale skin complexion. So when you see Muhammad is called white, that is a modern interpretation of an Arabic word. The word white does not mean what we call white today. Just like black doesn't mean we call black today. See what I'm saying?
No.
Making sense?
I said that earlier. White
what we
in
say
this
white
case
today
does not mean
white
European.
back then. It did not mean what we call white today. So you have to be careful in history. We see people being called white and black because
No,
black and white didn't have the same connotation it has now.
I think you're muddying the waters. I said that from the jump. When I say white, I'm not talking about white as in being from Europe. I'm talking about an Arab man, but a light skin color. He's a brown person, but he's very light. He's closer to white than black. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. So you saying he had a light brown skin complexion? Okay, so let's just get down to the Arabic. The word is there's sumra, where it calls him white, or the word there's sumra, which is a form of the word asmar. Asmar is a light black skin complexion. So actually, in the Hadith, Muhammad, peace be upon him, is called sumra or asmar, depending on the writing. So look at the Arabic. The word there is asmar. It's sumra. You see sumra. Sumra means a light skin black complexion, like you see like Boris Kojo, for the actor. He has like a light brown skin complexion. So Muhammad certainly had black skin, and I remember the name of it's called To the Prophet's Work. To the Prophet is the one all the Hebrew Israelites use. To the Prophet's Work. The parallel between blacks and Jews, I believe it's called. But go ahead. The guy's name.
Okay, so I don't think we're gonna agree on that, but can we both agree that Bilal was a slave of Muhammad?
Yeah, of course he was, but like I said, his mother was Ethiopian, and his father was a black Arab. The Arabs, it's funny you mentioned that. You do know that anybody who's not an Arab was looked down upon, right? That's not just the Ethiopians, right? You do know that we have records of the Persians being looked down upon by the Arabs. You familiar with that?
I'm sorry?
You're aware that the Arabs looked down on the Persians as well, right? They called them dirty, stinking Persians. You know that, right?
Yeah, but what does that have to do with Bilal?
Yeah, so Bilal, Rabbi Lewis was the slave because he was black. No, the Arabs looked down on the Persians as well and called them dirty, stinking Persians. It was just the Ethiopians. But
Okay, so Bilal was not just black, he was an African, right?
his mother was Ethiopian. His father was a black Arab. He was
According
black.
to you. Do you have a reference for that?
Of course, you have a reference for that. Of course, you have references for that. You have multiple references. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, Wesley Muhammad's work, Black Arabia by Wesley Muhammad, who's a PhD in African studies, in Arabic studies. In fact, they called him to write this book on the Encyclopedia of Islam. I'm sure Wesley Muhammad's work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wesley Muhammad, PhD, wrote an excellent book called Black Arabia, which is one of the best books you ever read. And he shows how Bilal, I think it was Black Arabia, one of his other books. I read all his books, but he shows how Bilal's father was black Arab. Wesley Muhammad's work, Black Arabia.
So you're saying Wesley Muhammad says that Bilal's father was black
Yes,
Arab?
Wesley Muhammad, PhD. He's a PhD in Islamic studies. He's also a
I know
5%
who Wesley
of
Muhammad is.
He's a PhD. So, I mean, if you would appeal to authority, I mean, the guy's a PhD.
It is an appeal to authority because he's the only person that says that?
No, of course not. Come on, bro. Bro, my book, I got like 100 sources with that. But
Okay, let's move on. You're a Shia Muslim, right?
yeah.
So
9.5 minutes. Nine and a
okay,
half minutes.
fine. That's fine. A Shia Muslim, that means you accept that the state, the Islamic State, can issue a fatwa, and that is accepted according to Islamic law, right?
I know what is a fatwa for the people.
A fatwa is a decree from the governing, either the state or the king or whatever the case is,
Right.
and that is binding because Muhammad was the person that says Allah would never let his ummah decide on anything that is wrong. So if a fatwa is issued, it automatically becomes right. Am I right about that?
Right.
Okay. So, are you aware that both in Islam, both in Saudi Arabia and in Saudi Arabia and in Iran, that they have different versions of a fatwa, especially in Iran, that says anybody that says that the prophet is black, it is basically, how you say, as basically left Islam. I don't remember the exact term that they use, but we can go and look for the fatwa if you want to read it. Are
Nah,
you
bro.
aware?
Go ahead, let you finish, bro.
No, okay. So let's look at the one in Saudi Arabia. Are you aware that it's illegal for you to say in Saudi Arabia that the Prophet Muhammad was a black man?
I've heard that. Yes. You have to substantiate that. If you can share screen. I mean, what's your source for that? I'm sorry.
It's a fatwa.
Okay, no problem. Okay.
So you
Hello?
want me to? What I'll do
Yeah, quote it. Just
is,
we don't have to pull it up on the screen. Just quote it. Quote the fatwa.
no, I don't have the fatwa. I have to look it up.
Oh, okay. You don't
But
have it.
but but
Okay.
but you said you are aware, right?
Yes.
So what do you make of that? Muhammad said Allah will never let his ummah decide on anything that is wrong.
Oh, he
So
a
is
lot.
that
Salih Salam also said that most of them must have gone to the hellfire because they deviated from his teachings. So, and furthermore, if I can respond to what you just said,
mm-hmm.
my teacher, my mentor, Sheikh Yasir Al Habib, right? He's from Kuwait, I believe, right? He's the Shia Sheikh. You with me?
Yeah, I'm listening.
He disrespected Aisha, so they tried to kill him. They put him in jail for like a year. I think he did like 2 years in jail. They tried to keep him for life, and he fled to the UK. UK and London. He lives in London
Mm-hmm.
to this day because they tried to kill him, arrest him for disrespecting Aisha. You know Aisha's right.
Yeah, I
Bint
know
Abu
this.
Bakr. Yeah, he disrespected Aisha. They locked him up. Like you can't disrespect Aisha over there. You get locked up, bro. They locked him
Yeah,
up,
but
and he
but
fled to
don't
the
you
UK.
Shias disrespect Aisha all the time?
Of course, Sir Tarim disrespects Aisha. Says because the Bakri say she's the best woman that Allah could have gave Muhammad. But then in the Quran, Allah says he could have gave him a better wife. So which one is it? Is she the best wife he could have ever had, or what Allah
So
says when He says I could have given you a better wife, bro? That's a contradiction. So she's condemned. But
so are you saying that particular ruling about Aisha, it was wrong?
I'm sorry. What do you mean by that?
Okay, so the ruling is that you're not supposed to disrespect Aisha, right?
Correct.
That's also a fatwa, right?
Yes. You can't talk bad about Aisha. If you do, they lock
Yeah.
you up.
So was that wrong?
Of course, it's wrong, bro.
So, but
I'm a
doesn't that
Shia.
contradict what Muhammad says?
No, Muhammad said Rasa Kufr. He came out he was with Aisha bin Abu Bakr, and when he came out the house, he said, "This is Rasa Kufr. This is the horn of
No.
disbelief in here." He called her the horn of disbelief. The horn of disbelief.
Yes, but I'm talking about the decision. If Muhammad is saying that Allah will never let his people or his ummah decide on something that is wrong, and they have decided that to disrespect Aisha is a crime, isn't that a contradiction?
Oh, you know what the Oasis of Fadak was?
Hmm?
The Oasis of Fadak.
I didn't understand you.
The Oasis of Fadak.
What's that?
You don't know about? Come on, bro. Basic history. I'll give you
No,
guys some.
because you keep bringing things that has nothing to do with the point
It's
we're
very relevant to
discussing.
the topic. When Muhammad's son died, right? His daughter Fatima, who married Ali, correct?
Hmm.
Fatima married Ali, correct?
Who?
Fatima married Ali.
Oh, you mean Fatima?
Yeah, Fatima. Yeah, Fatima. Yeah.
Why you say it like that? You gotta say it right.
Oh,
Fatima.
Fatima. Yeah, Fatima. Excuse me. Yeah. She married Ali, correct?
Yes.
Now, Fatima was going to Abu Bakr. She was like, "Yo, this is our land. It's called the Oasis of Fadak. It was like a land that they had taken, and Abu Bakr refused to give it to her. And so Fatima was Muhammad's daughter, and his cousin Ali. They left, and because they thought the land belonged to them, but the Sahaba, particularly I believe it was Abu Bakr and Uthman, I believe, or Omar, was saying, no, this land doesn't belong to you guys. It belongs to us. That's actually how the split started. Did you know that?
I know the split started because when according to what the Shia says, when um when the family of Muhammad was burying Muhammad, they went behind his back and chose Abu Bakr as the leader. But according to what the Sunni says, Abu Bakr should have been the
3 minutes,
rightful leader.
brothers. 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, there's
So
either to
so
this day there's something called the Oasis of Fadak radio station. It's called the Oasis of Fadak radio.
yeah, but you're getting into different people's view. But I'm not trying to get into that. I'm trying to get into what Muhammad said and what the Quran says. We're not debating on whether the Shia Sunni split, whether who was righteous or who was aggrieved. That's what you're getting into, but that's not our argument here. We're trying to. My original point was trying to show that Muhammad was a white man with black slaves. You admit that he had black slaves, but you're denying the fact that he was a white man, or in terms of, or should we say, a very light Arab man.
He was a black Shemite who the black Shemites looked down on the black Hamites. They looked down on them.
But he did
They were
have
all
black
black. They all
African
had the black
slaves.
skin. They just looked down on the other black people.
But he did have black African slaves, right?
Didn't Joseph ben Yakanan, Dr. Ben, say that Muhammad's uncle was black? Did he not say that in his work?
I'm not sure.
Dr. Ben said that Muhammad's grandfather and uncle were black. Dr. Ben said that in his book.
Okay.
I mean, come on, like really?
Okay, but
I don't get it.
The Hadith say that Muhammad was a white man.
Oh, it says he was Asmar. Asmar means a light skin, black complexion, a brown skin,
again. So let's get into
brown
the
coffee,
translation.
like brown coffee. When you put some creamer and some black coffee and it gets brown, that's the complexion of Muhammad. He was a brown skinned man. He had dark skin.
But that's not what the Hadith say.
That's something. Look. What's the word for white in Arabic?
No, you tell me.
1 minute, brothers. 1 minute.
Because all you're doing when you ask me that is that you're saying that the translation that I have is wrong.
And I quoted to the prophet's word. This the race between blacks and Jews, where he calls his book. Hold on, let me finish. He calls the Jews black, but the word there is from the French word "passanti," which doesn't even mean black. It means a tan, pale complexion. So you have to understand the language you're looking at. You can't look at it in the English and say, okay, see what I'm saying?
No. You what you're saying is that the translation that I have is wrong.
Correct.
That's all you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, but these are translation are not done by me. They're done by Muslims.
They're done by Muslims. What does that mean? That's
the hadith are Muslim hadith.
All Muslims don't agree. Like it's like saying it's a Protestant source, but the Protestants don't get along with the open theists. So the open theists don't get along. Yeah.
All right, family.
Okay.
That's time. That's time.
That's fine.
Time.
Just one more question. So
Go ahead.
all Muslims don't agree. So we have Muslims that's saying he was white, and you're saying he was black. Who should we listen to?
The Catholics. The Catholics don't agree with the open theists. Open theists don't believe for some of the Adventists. So the Adventists don't get along with this other group, and this group they're all Christians. They don't get along on anything, on most topics. So they're all Christians. Or the Muslims say this loaded.
Bro, I'm talking about the translation of the books. And so you're saying that these Muslims are lying at translating and lying on the Prophet?
Yes. In fact, I know we have to close out, but to the next topic, Ali Muhammad, Dr. Ali Muhammad from ARNA, Aboriginal Republic of North America, right? You know him, right?
He's not a doctor. Don't say Dr. Ali Muhammad. Just say Ali Muhammad.
Ali Muhammad, brilliant guy. I got all his work.
Yeah, why you calling that dude a doctor?
He called stuff. He said that he cured somebody of HIV.
So I can call myself a doctor and say I cured herpes and I'm a doctor?
That's why that's his story. That's the reason why he calls himself a
Stop
doctor.
playing, Rabbi Lewis.
But anyway,
For real.
all right, whatever. But oh yeah. Where it says that the people will be blue-eyed, will be persecuted in the last day. You know the Quran where it says that the blue-eyed man. You know what I'm talking about?
No, not really. Go ahead.
The Quran says that in the Quran that the blue-eyed man will be persecuted in the last days, and after Yom Kippur, the blue-eyed man. But if you look at the word for eye there, the Hebrew word for eye is ayin, and that word is not there. And actually, the word there is furkan, I believe. Or it's everywhere. I can't remember every word there, but it's not the word for eye, like your eye socket. It actually means pale complected, not somebody intentionally mistranslated the word blue-eyed in there when it doesn't say blue-eyed. The word eye is not even there in Arabic. But I use the floor.
Okay. All right. Let's move to the next point. All right.
Okay. Go ahead, Google Scholar. My bad.
All right. Since we all agree that Muhammad had black slaves, we also agree that Islam allows you to have slaves, especially sex slaves. And we also agree that the Arab Muslims, especially, were enslaving Africans even after Muhammad died and way up until probably about modern time. Since there is no,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, since there is no inhibition in the Quran for against slavery, and Arabs have been enslaving Africans, especially black Africans, for centuries. Why should black people convert to a religion that has been enslaving their ancestors for centuries, for
Yeah,
more than a millennia?
we talked about this. You already talked about this 3 times on Bianchi's show, but the Barbary Wars, the Moors, Spain were more Arabs. They were Muslims, and they were trading white people. In fact, it's an excellent book by Robert C. Davis called "Muslims, Christian Slaves, and Muslim Masters" by Robert C. Davis, and he shows how in the Barbary slave trade, the black Moorish Arab pirates, Muslim pirates, were enslaving Europeans. Over 1.5 million Europeans got enslaved in the Barbary slave trade. So blacks were also slave trading white people.
Okay.
Again,
Stop.
he's
Rabbi Lewis,
deflecting. Okay.
real quick, because that gets under my skin.
That's a deflection,
like
yeah.
no nothing else. We not gonna deflect from what other people do to black people by saying black people did it to black people and black people do it to white people. What he asking you is, why should black people follow Islam if Islam enslaved black people? I don't care what black people did to whoever. Why should we follow a religion that was cool with us being enslaved? Period. I don't want to hear about what we did to nothing. Why should we follow a religion that was cool with us being enslaved? Go ahead.
Sure. So there's a story in the works of Josephus, Antiquity of the Jews, where who was it? I believe it was Alexander, if I'm not mistaken. He put around the Caucasus Mountains, he put a gate, an iron gate, around the Caucasus Mountains to keep those the barbarians, they call it historically, keep them from coming into the civilized world. And these people were all white. So a white boy builds a fence around the Caucasus Mountains to keep some other white boys from coming to invade. The scholars call them the barbarians. In fact, what's the name of that book? But I forgot to have that book.
Again, this is a deflection.
I'm not deflecting. Get to the answer. So all African people are not the same. So they say, well, Arabs enslaved Africans. We're not all the same people. We're not all Africans are the same people. There's different tribes, different ethnic groups in Africa. So again, I think it was Ptolemy Alexander, I believe it was. One of these white boys from Greece put he built a fence, a little big ass fence, excuse my language, around the Caucasus Mountains to keep the barbarians from invading Europe. The Caucasus Mountains, you know what the Caucasus Mountains is, right?
Go ahead, we're listening. I don't know what it has
so he
to
built
do
a
with the
big ass
question.
fence around. Excuse my language. He built a big fence around the Caucasus Mountains to keep they call it barbarians. Joseph Cromwell's work. He wrote an excellent book called The Barbarians by Joseph Cromwell, I believe his name is. Excellent book. So to keep the barbarians from invading, these people were all European. They were all white boys, but they were not the same people. So what I'm saying is, all Africans are not just one people. There's like
Google Scholar. We don't
Yeah.
care about what we're not talking about white people. We don't care.
I don't know why you keep going down that.
What we want to know is why should any black person of African descent, which we are, me and Google Scholar, the people in my chat, why should we follow Islam if Islam was okay with our ancestors' cousins, whatever you consider them? Not saying every African tribe was alike, was the same. We know that because every European people ain't the same. We don't need a history or geology lesson on that. I just need an answer as to why black people should follow Islam, considering Islam was cool with us being enslaved, cool with us being castrated, cool with our women being raped with impunity and abused on every level you can think of.
this is ridiculous. Do you know
Why should black people follow that religion?
Sure. So the largest Islamic country on the planet, which is Indonesia, there's no Islamic army ever went there. So the largest Islamic country on the freaking planet, I don't want to curse, no Islamic army ever went there.
Curse?
Okay, they never went there. No Islamic army ever went to Indonesia or Malaysia. And they're the two largest Islamic countries on the planet. Am I making sense? Check.
Yeah, but you're not answering the question. That's the point.
Yeah, hold on. Made me lose my train of thought. Hold on. I forgot what I was going to say because you cut me off. I used my train of thought.
Because you're stalling.
But, yeah, so I forgot what I was going to say. Excuse me, guys. I kind of went off topic. But in a nutshell, all African people are not the same. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I remember now. Do you know what Islam did for black people in America? You know what the Nation of Islam did for our people? Do you know what the Moorish Temple of America did for our people? Do you know what the 5% Nation did for our people? Do you know what the FOI did for our people? Historically?
I also know what the black church did for our people, but
do you know what the MSTA, NOI did for black people and after slavery? Do you know what they did for our people? Are you serious? You're gonna just throw away all that, the accolades of Islam and amongst African Americans? You're gonna throw all the history away?
Okay, so we should be Christians then.
Should be Christian.
No, because you're deflecting. You didn't attempt to answer the question not even once. All we're asking is, why should our people be Muslims, seeing that the Muslims had so much to do with the enslavement of our people? Why should we then turn around and accept the religion of the slave master? You're not answering that.
Why should we? We've been following Islam. We've been following Islam as the people in America for hundreds of years now. You act like Islam just popped up on the scene in the last year or so. Our people been Muslims of the Nation of Islam, Fruit of Islam, the Moorish Science Temple. Just keep going.
Well, Pianki, can you? Because maybe my accent is getting in the way.
I think my brother Rabbi Lewis, and salute to my brother. I got love for this brother. I appreciate him. He come on whenever I ask him to, but the brother is I'm gonna start calling him the artful dodger, because that's what he doing. He is just artfully or not so artfully dodging the question. We all know that the Moorish Science Temple and the Nation of Islam don't practice the same doctrine of Islam that is practiced in the Middle East. They don't. They not even recognized as the same. Hell, when Malcolm X came back talking that Sunni Islam, he was made even a bigger enemy of the NOI. So I don't even know why you bringing up the nation and the Moorish Science Temple. You still haven't given us a reason as to why black people should follow Islam. And it's cool. You probably don't have one. So I'm gonna refrain from asking.
What are you talking about? And Moors were black people, black Africans.
Again, you didn't answer the question, brother, and you had your chance. You didn't answer the question. It's cool.
Okay.
Also, let me say something too, because he brought up the Nation of Islam and the Moorish Science Temple. He's a Shia Islam. He's a Shiite. So
exactly.
Basically, in his view, those are not Muslims.
Exactly. Exactly.
Don't we have pictures of Minister Farrakhan making Hajj? Oh, you say
Yes.
you know he
So
made Hajj,
so
right?
so 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 now so
He's not a
now
world Muslim, but he
so
made
now
Hajj.
you're gonna make me ask you another question.
Go ahead.
So according to Sunni and Shia Muslims, you telling me that the Nation of Islam in America are recognized as they fellow Muslims. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying I got pictures of Minister Farrakhan, Louis Farrakhan.
I didn't ask you that. I
Um,
asked, are you saying they are recognized as fellow Muslims? Yes or no?
by some, yes. How do we know? There
Okay.
are pictures of.
No,
Don't let me finish. Now you.
go ahead. Go
We
ahead.
got pictures of Farrakhan making Hajj. You know what Hajj is, right?
Yes, we know what Hajj is.
We have pictures of him in Arabia with his Islamic garb on, making Hajj. What are you talking about? He made Hajj.
That don't mean that they accept them.
If they didn't accept him, why the hell would he
It
go
don't
to
mean that.
Arabia? Why would he go to
Okay.
Mecca in
Watch
Arabia?
this, Bianchi.
I can go over there.
Watch this, Bianchi. Do you, Rabbi Lewis, that if somebody accepts that there is a prophet after Muhammad, that they are Muslim?
Yes, I don't believe Muhammad was the last prophet. That word there for prophet, last prophet, is Katam. Hello?
So Muhammad is not the seal of the
No, he's
prophet.
not. The seal word for seal there is the Arabic word is Katam, which doesn't literally mean the last messenger. That's a translation.
Kitab is a word that means the book.
Not Katam.
Okay,
Hatim. As for Hatim, the seal of the prophethood.
Rabbi
As for
Lewis,
Hatim.
this my I'm gonna ask you this, and then I'm gonna switch. I got a question for Google Scholar.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what you just saying, what you said to Google Scholar, that you don't believe Muhammad was the last prophet. Do you recognize Elijah Muhammad as
A prophet?
the prophet of Allah?
Of course I do. Absolutely.
And do you recognize Ford Muhammad as Allah?
As Allah himself. No, that's shirk.
So wait.
That's shirk.
You accept Elijah Muhammad as a prophet of Allah,
But Elijah
but you don't
Muhammad said Fard was
recognize
Allah.
you don't recognize who he recognized as Allah.
Well, but that's a long dialogue, but
Come on, man. Okay, Google Scholar. I'm moving to Google Scholar because this
Okay.
is bananas now. Okay, Google Scholar. Considering what the brother brought up about the Moore Science Temple, and Rabbi Lewis, feel free to chime in like Google Scholar did when I was asking you questions. Considering what the brother said about the Moore Science Temple and the Nation of Islam and what they've done for Black people in America, cleaning men up, getting them off drugs, giving them a path with regards to changing their life, etc. Regardless of the fact, or regardless of whether or not they recognized by Muslims, Sunni Shia, or etc., can we not say that Islam has had a positive effect on Black people, at least here in the wilderness of the United States?
To some extent, yes. To some extent, yes. I've never been
play
a
the
person
Jeopardy
that,
music,
okay.
Play the
To
Jeopardy
some
music, bro.
extent, I would say yes. Um, People have used Islam by one way or another to get out of the situation that they're in. That's fine. As an organization, for example, the NOI, I believe, has done some good in terms of in America. But at the same time, we also need to look at the detrimental effects that it also had, and understand that we wouldn't have been in the position in the first place if it wasn't for Islam, Sunni Islam, and Shia Islam, and Sufi Islam. So even though they basically what they would have been doing in this case is trying to make up for some of the wrongs they have done, because if they're responsible in a large part for us being here, and then they come in and use their organization to try to help some of us get out of the condition we're in, you can't really say it's a net benefit. In my mind, it's a benefit, but it's not. It does not make up for all the wrongs it did. Um, we can say the same thing about the church. The church has did some good for black people in America, and not even Rabbi Lewis can deny that. But also, it still doesn't make up for all the bad that it did to get us in this situation. So yeah, that's the way I look at it.
What Christian? I'm sorry, maybe I wants to respond to that. I'm sorry.
No. Y'all can get
Go
back
ahead.
to
What Christian group
yeah.
helped
Chime
out
in.
cleaned out people up like the Nation of Islam did? What's the name of the Christian group that cleaned out people up, get them off the drugs, got them off the street corner selling crack and heroin?
A
What's
lot of them.
name one?
The AME Church.
The Amity Church. What are they? Okay.
Deacons of Defense.
Bro,
Okay.
you think that the nation of Islam is late in the game if you want to talk about Africans over here. The black church was the first refuge for people when they came out of slavery.
Right, but we do have Christian, like it's the hot topic of the week, the flavor of the week, as El Tahar would say, is the Arabic on the pews, right? The Arabic on the pews argument, right? You heard of that, right?
Yeah,
They
but
found the
but
Arabic
but I
writings on
don't.
the pews, on the church
You
pews
always
amongst the
just
slaves.
go into some stuff that has nothing to do with what
Of
we're
course it does.
talking
So, oh yeah, the Christian church, you guys are Johnny come lately when it comes to contributions to the African diaspora. When we have people writing Arabic on the Christian pews,
about.
correct?
On
Why
so so
why
so
were they
you got
writing
one
Arabic though?
church.
How did Arabic come to Africa?
Right. Well,
Through
the Black
through
Israelites say it's in
through
Hebrew, but
through
if you look,
slavery
all right, go ahead. I
and
yield.
conquest. That's how it came.
But he's talking about one church that had a writing on the pew where it's not even settled as it's Arabic. Some scholars say it's Arabic, some say it's a different thing.
Yeah,
Nobody is sure what it is.
yeah,
But
they don't
he
know what
wanna
that
use that.
is.
He wanna use that to say that Islam is doing something when we're talking about what the black church has done. The black church was there when we got out of slavery, where there was no NOI, there was no nation of gods on earth, there was none of that. So I'm not saying the black church has been redeemed or doesn't have anything to answer for. I'm saying they did some good, just like Islam has done, but that doesn't
Yeah,
take
like
away
you
from what they're
we
doing.
not gonna even compare the Nation of Islam or the Moorish Science Temple to the Black Church because we know when we came out of slavery, whether we believe and Google Scholar and I don't believe that the Bible is true, but we know for a fact the Black Church helped establish our communities and got us off on the right track once we got out of slavery. That's just what it is. The NOI and the Moorish Science Temple went nowhere around.
Hold on, let me respond to that. Can I respond to that?
Go ahead.
I remember Lamppost Education Initiative on the Google Scholar.
I
You
don't
heard
know
of it?
what you just said. You talking like the micro machine man.
Oh, the Lamppost Education Initiative. Lamppost.
What's that?
It's a consortium on YouTube of Black African American Muslims. Right? Am I talking too fast? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
you know
So
you
what
talking
about
too
it?
fast. Slow down.
Lamppost is a a think tank of Black African American Muslims of the slave trade. Right?
What about it?
Yeah. So before the MSTA was MSTA, it was actually they were Black Jews. I believe they called themselves not the Commandment Keepers from the One West camps. It wasn't the name of the MSTA was originally actually a messianic Black Jewish organization called before they called themselves MSTA. They called there was a different name. You remember that? You
Yeah, I
know,
just don't know
What
where
year
you're
was it
going.
though? What
this
year
was
was it?
before they became MSTA. They were actually a Zionist, the more Zionist temple, I believe they called themselves. They were actually Black Jews. They believed that they were Jews and were called themselves the Black Zionists, I believe.
Rabbi
Before,
Lewis,
Where you
what year
going?
was
Where are you
this?
going with this?
yeah,
What
so before the MSTA, the
what
Christians were doing this.
year?
Oh,
What
what year was
year?
this? Before the MSTA became MSTA became MSTA. What year was that? Google Scholar.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, so They were called the Moorish Zionist Temple before Moorish Zionist Temple. They were Jewish. They thought they believed that the blacks were the real Jews, and before they became Moorish Zionist Temple.
All right, we got
One
that.
more
What's your point?
time. What year?
Oh, what year? This is the 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s.
Early 1900s,
Yeah,
right?
late 1800s, really early 90s before they became MSTA.
Okay, so what's your point?
So yes, before they were Muslims, they were not Christians. Actually, our people were actually Jewish. We knew that we were Jewish, and they were not Christians. They were the Moorish Zionist Temple. Before that, they weren't Christians.
And who is this?
Before they became known as MSTA, Moorish Zionist of America, they were called the Moorish Zionist Temple, which was
and this was the early 1900s.
Yeah,
so,
late 1800s, really early 1900s before they became MSTA.
Richard Allen and Absalom Jones formed the AME Church in the 1790s. So
what is? I don't even know what is.
I'm not sure what you if we still trying to compare what they did to the black church, they still lost. Like
it's still late in the game.
That's over.
It's late in the game.
It's late in the game. So because one came before the other one,
that's
okay.
absolutely because when you got a track record that comes before and you've been putting in work long before another group have, that other group, I mean, what can you say? What can you say?
Let me respond to that. If I could.
Go ahead.
If I could respond to that, Pierre?
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I know. Ali Muhammad, my mentor, because I'm a mentor of mine. He's got beef with Tahaka Bay from
Ali Muhammad. Hold on, Ali Muhammad is a mentor of you?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we don't know each other personally. I mean, I was a member of ARNA for years. I remember.
Okay.
I was a member of his school. See what I'm saying? Hello?
Yeah, we listen.
He got beef with Tahaka Bay for Morris World TV. They got beef. In fact, he challenged to a boxing match, like literally like a boxing match, because they hate each other, right? You guys see me?
Mm-hmm.
He hates. They hate each other. So Ali Muhammad said something interesting one day. He said, "Man, the MSCA has been around for hundreds of years. Y'all niggas ain't got no institutions. You got no libraries. You got no schools. You got no restaurants open. You guys got no hello."
Yeah, let me address this.
Yeah, he said that. He said MSCA has no schools open. They have no indigenous what do you call it? We go to you get sick. Hospitals. You have no hospitals. You got no schools. You guys were open for hundreds of years and have nothing to offer the black community. He said, you know what? The conscious community has nothing to offer black people.
All right, let me address that because the first thing, if you
so the point I'm making is this, ARNA, which came after the Moorish Science Temple.
Yo, let me make a point. And
you killing me, Rabbi Lewis, for real.
The point I make, the reason why, brother, here's the point. So ARNA has been around half of the time of the Moorish Science Temple, and they got more going on than they do. So to say, well, MSCA came before ARNA, therefore they're doing more for black people, that's not true. ARNA
Okay, Rabbi Lewis, this is the thing. So are you now saying that the black church don't have any institutions, or you saying that the black church haven't done
I'm saying Ali Muhammad said.
Okay, so what are you? Why are you saying this? What is your point?
The point I'm making is ARNA.
I stopped taking you seriously the moment you said Ali Muhammad. Nobody serious quotes Ali Muhammad.
Listen. Let me let y'all get back to y'all, doc, because I didn't been an interloper into this dialogue.
No, it's fine, but
Rabbi Lewis go back and forth for maybe another 15 minutes.
Yeah, we can.
I mean, all I'm saying in the nutshell is that
I got a proposal for a topic though.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we know in Islam, again, we talking about whether black people should follow this religion and why it's wrong. Unless Rabbi Lewis about to refute this, and I'm sure he'll do the micro machine man talking for those of you who old enough to remember that. He gonna start talking fast again. My brother, I got love for you, but you talking a mile a minute. You breathing hard and everything. I don't know if you're working out while you're doing this or what. But at the end of the day, unless I'm mistaken, Muhammad, the prophet of Allah, who kicked all this off, married a child and consummated his marriage to her as a child while she was a child. And Muslims have been doing this ever since. And so my question is, considering that we're talking about pedophiles, we're talking about enslavers, we're talking about men who castrate other men probably because they jealous of their rods. I'm talking about vicious, vile people who do vicious and vile things in the name of their religion, be it enslaving our African brethren or crashing into goddamn planes. And I'm not talking about you, Rabbi Lewis, or saying that you had this mentality. So don't take it personal, because I'm sure you don't. But what I'm asking is, considering what I named and other things, why should Black people follow this religion? I'm going to give y'all 15 minutes and I'm going to mute.
Go ahead, Rabbi Lewis. That's on you. That's about
Okay,
Islam.
so I wrote a book called, I wrote a book called, was the 86-year-old she married the Prophet Muhammad. Excuse me, I'm breathing hard because I had a head cold. Excuse me, guys. So the book is called, was the 86-year-old she married Muhammad, peace be upon him, right? That story is bogus. I'll just say that. It was Aisha herself who narrated the story. She lied. That's all I got to say to that. It's a bold-faced lie. Oh, Muhammad, my mom came to me. I was on the swing set, and my mom came and brushed my hair up and gave me to Rasulullah, and I was nervous, and I was just a kid and all that. That's all garbage. That's all propaganda from Aisha herself. In fact, she had a husband before Muhammad. You know what his name was, right?
Aisha had a husband before Muhammad?
Yeah, what's his name? You know his name?
No, you're just making stuff up.
Jabbar ibn Motim. You can look at it right now. Jabbar ibn Motim was Aisha's first husband. So her father, Abu Bakr, divorced her from Jabbar ibn Motim and gave her to the Prophet Muhammad. She was 20 years old when she married the Prophet. So she had a husband before Muhammad known as Jabbar ibn Motim. Jabbar ibn Motim was a grown-ass man. She was a grown-ass woman. That was her first husband. She had a husband before Muhammad. This is bogus. How you?
Okay. Everything that Rabbi Lewis just said, I don't know if he really believes that, but it's a lie. It's it's a lie. I won't say every Muslim, but every Muslim should know that Aisha was a child when she married
Bro,
Muhammad.
it's bogus. It's bogus.
Now, I know Rabbi Lewis is a Shia, and as soon as I bring a hadith, he's gonna dismiss it because he's gonna say it's a Sunni hadith and they're lying. But we have the words of Aisha. We have Aisha playing with dolls. There's no woman that has been married before that's gonna play with dolls. We also have Aisha herself saying she was 6 years old. So, am I supposed to believe Rabbi Lewis that she wasn't 6? Or am I supposed to believe Aisha's own words that she was? Because the sources that say she was 6 is some of the oldest documents in Islam. And I know you're going to dismiss it and say that you're not a Sunni and these are Sunni. And that's the problem I have. Because I have a lot more material both on Muhammad.
Okay.
And
What
both
was
Islam.
Aisha's sister's name? Her older sister.
That's irrelevant.
Oh my God, it's so relevant. What's the name of her sister?
How is that relevant?
I'm gonna show you why it's relevant. What was Aisha's older sister's name?
Oh, sister is gonna tell you how old she
Yes,
is?
I'm gonna show it to you right now. I'm gonna give you a
How?
piece of the book. What was
How?
her name? What's his sister's name?
I don't know.
You don't
That's not
know.
relevant.
Her name was Asma. We have her biography of Asma.
I know
Aisha
who
had an older
Asma is.
sister named Asma. It says she was 10 years older than the Prophet in the second year Hajj. It says that in her biography. The biography of Asma, who's
Who
I
was
showed
10
it to you.
years older than the Prophet?
No, I said in the biography of Asma, it says Asma was Aisha's sister. Excuse me, I had a head cold. Excuse me. So it says in her biography that she was 10 years older than Aisha when she met in the second year of Hajj, when she married the Prophet. So we know she was 29.
Oh,
So that
let's
means
do this.
Aisha was 19. She was 19
Let's
years
do
old when
this.
she met Muhammad. Huh?
Let's do this. Let's do it this way. What year did Muhammad die?
He died around 632, I believe. 632, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. And how old was he when he died?
In his 50s. 54, I believe. No, don't call me. 54.
58.
58. Yeah. In his 50s, yes.
Okay. What year was Aisha born?
Nobody knows. That's the magic of the discussion. Look up Aisha's birthday. No, look it up.
Aisha
Look it right
was
now. Look up
Aisha
Aisha's
was
birthday. It will tell you nobody knows she was born. It
no
says it
no
right in
no
her
no no.
biography.
I have it here. Aisha was born between 613 and 614
That is
CE.
bogus. That is bogus. I did the research on this. Nobody knows when Aisha was born. She does not have an
Bro,
actual birth records. I have her. I've looked at this already.
you looked
That
at
is
her birth
bogus.
records?
You go to Wikipedia of Aisha, and you'll see nobody knows she was born. She has no birthday. Nobody knows.
What's that music?
My bad, y'all.
Sorry. That's all right. Um, so um, no other Muslim sources has Aisha has been married before. No other Muslim sources have Aisha as nothing than being a child when she was married. In fact, I can show you a date right now that show that when Muhammad died, Aisha was still a teenager.
Bogus,
So
bro. That is bogus. You know the same Sunni hadiths say that Salih Salam wrote the marriage contract. You aware of that? Did the same hadith say that? He was illiterate,
said
right?
what?
This is hadith said that Prophet Muhammad wrote the marriage contract that he had with Aisha. He actually wrote it with his hand. So how was he illiterate when he wrote the marriage contract to
Well,
Aisha? Makes no sense.
because Muhammad was not illiterate.
I would agree with that. I don't know you agree
But
with
that
that.
but I don't understand what the point you're making.
Yeah, okay, so I hear the floor.
All right. So is it okay if I show some hadiths that show that Aisha was 6 years
Bro,
old
it's a
when
waste of time because that's Sunni hadiths. I don't believe in those hadiths. I know what they say, bro. This is Aisha speaking herself. We don't believe in
yes.
Aisha. She can't be trusted. She can't be trusted, bro.
So Aisha can be trusted, the mother
This is
of the
all her words.
believers.
This is her words. This is all her words. It's not somebody else.
So we can't trust the mother of the believers.
No, the mother of the believers. That's Sunni.
It-
Sunni stuff. Sunni rhetoric.
so you don't believe Aisha?
No, I don't. I just
Do
told
you
you.
believe?
We
Do you
have the
believe?
biography of her sister Asma, and it says she was 10 years older than Aisha when she married the Prophet, because it was the second year of Hajj. Because in Islamic time, you don't go by AD BCE. You go by the Hajj time, correct?
No, not by Hajj, by Hijrah.
Hijrah, yeah, Hijrah. You go by the Hijrah dates. So you don't use BCAD. Islamically, you use the Hijrah dates. So on that date, the fruit, you know what I mean by date, like a time date, you know. So it says that she
The,
married Muhammad in the second year of the Hajj.
the
So we know she
problem
was
is you
19.
don't have a reference for that.
Of
I
course
would
we do.
have
We
to
have
see
the biography of Asma. I just told you. We have who wrote that again?
the
We have the biography of
biography of
Asma about
Asma.
who?
Is that in English? Because I've never seen that.
No, it's in Arabic. I have it in Arabic. I have it.
Do you have a translation?
On my laptop, yes, not physically. But it's in
Uh,
Arabic. The book's in Arabic. You can find it on the internet
so
for like $20.
So you want us to believe that there's a document out there that shows that Aisha was not 6 years old, and you Muslims have it and been hiding it for all these hundreds
Bro,
of
see the
years?
difference is I wrote a book on this called was that Aisha 6 Shabbat Muhammad. It's up on Amazon for $1. Literally, it's $1. The download.
All right. All right, I got a translation app. Can we see the Arabic so we can translate it?
You just go pick up the book. It's 99 cents on Amazon. You can see
What book
I
is
got all
that?
the references in my book. I have all the references.
I believe you're buck dancing. You're trying to, you're deflecting. You know you don't have any source that say Aisha was not six, but you're trying to make it like you believe that. I don't think you believe that. We all know she was. What other Muslims do is that they try to justify it. And me personally, when I argue with Muslims, I don't really go into this one because I understand that Muhammad was just a man like any other man. And this was something that people living in that time did. So I don't really trip over it as much as some people do. But the fact is, it happened. And we have sources that say it did, and you apparently have a source that say it didn't happen, but we can't see that source. I don't believe for a second that there are Muslims out there that has this source, and for hundreds of years, while Christian has been beating them down with this, they have not pulled that source out, not even one time. I don't believe that.
Of course,
I believe
bro, that idiot, that retarded dude, Sam Shimon, who I've debated on his channel before. He's a
you
cap in
can't
the
call
devil.
Sam Shamoun an idiot. He's a native Arabic speaker. He knows the language more than you.
Bro, I've been on his show like 3 times. I've talked to him personally. I've been on his show on YouTube. I know this guy. He doesn't know anything. I have a YouTube video on my YouTube channel. Just type in Rabbi Lewis.
5 minutes, brothers. 5 minutes.
Yeah. But type in Rabbi Lewis on YouTube. I have a video called Was Alicia 6 She Married Muhammad. You see that retarded dude, Sam Shimon, there. She's one of these Sunni scholars talking and all that. Sam Shimon is on the, she was 6 years old. Prophet Muhammad was 64, 54, and all that. She had her dolls with her. We're just laughing. Like, this is ignorant.
What's ignorant? That's what all the literature
She
says.
was 6 years
You don't.
old. She was 54, and he's a pedophile. Pedophile, pedophile. Like, what?
No, that wouldn't make him a pedophile. That would make him a child molester.
Yeah, I mean, in the video clip I made, I got a clip of this woman from France. She speaks French. She's saying, Muhammad's a Patricio. You check the video out. It's on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, but that they're going according to what the literature says. You're saying the literature is wrong, but you're not providing a refutation of it.
Certainly did. I just quoted my own book called it's on Amazon for $1. Literally, was that Muhammad 6 when she married the Prophet? I mean, was Isha 6 years old when she married Muhammad? I give all the sources in my book.
This is in your book. Do you have
Yes.
your book there with you?
No, it's an ebook. It's not a physical copy. It's an ebook on Amazon. It's
So
called.
why
If you want
can
to look
you
at it.
share your screen and let's see that? Because I only have one of your book and that's not in it.
Okay, Pianki. I don't know if Pianki wants to do that, but no, I don't know if he does stuff like that. But just go to Amazon and type in. Was Isha 6
You can show your screen, G.
I can't share screen on my phone. So just type that in on Amazon. The book's $1. If you can't afford it, go to my YouTube channel. Go to Rabbi Lewis on YouTube and check my video I did on Aisha 6 years old, debunking Sam Shimon.
I don't believe you debunk Sam Shamoun. I don't believe that source you have is authentic. I believe that's a made up source. Whosoever you got it from probably made it up. But we have earlier sources that confirm. We have Sahih Bukhari. That's one of the earliest compilation of hadith that says that she was 6 years old. We have Sahih Muslim also says she's 6 years old. We have another hadith, I think that's in Asbabul Nuzul, that says that at one time they caught her playing with dolls, and she told them that Muhammad allowed her to play with dolls because she was not yet a woman, basically. So I don't know where you're getting your information from that she was married before she was married to man. That is crazy, and I'm sure as a Shia you're allowed to say that, but a lot of Sunni Muslims hearing you say that, they will have a problem with that. So, you know, and basically, in my view, this is why Islam is wrong. It's not for us because the main and the core concept of Islam, and especially for you who is a Shia Muslim, is that the Prophet Muhammad and all of his family, that they are Masum. Am I right about that, Rabbi Lewis?
What you say that again?
That the Prophet Muhammad and all of his family, along with the 12 Imams, that they are Masum.
Arabic word you just used? What does that mean?
It's the Arabic word Masum. It means that they are perfect. They don't make mistakes.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you also believe that whatever Muhammad did was perfect and it should be the standard for all Muslims?
Yes.
Okay, so that's why I believe black people shouldn't follow Islam because the actions of Muhammad are that of a savage, a barbarian, and somebody who was living in the 7th century Arabia. That is not something that would be good for black people in this time. Also, do you also believe that Muhammad and his family that they're made from light?
How deep is that?
I don't have a particular idea. That's one of the concepts of Shia Islam, right? That the Prophet and his family are made from light.
Right. I've heard that. Provide the source.
I just said I don't have the source right now, but I was just asking you a question. I
Okay,
was
sure.
just
No
asking
problem.
you
No
that
problem, bro. It's all
question.
good, bro. Is
I'm
Muhammad made
not
of light?
debating you.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
debating you on that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that I was just asking that. But back to the point is, if Muhammad is the standard and the example for black
That's
people,
time, brothers.
yeah.
Y'all,
If I
y'all keep
just say
building though. Keep building.
if Muhammad is the standard and the example for black people, then I believe we're going to be in a worse conditions even than we are right now, because it would mean that an adult can actually look at someone who is below the age of consent and have relations with them. It also means that you can choose to have slaves, sex slaves, as well as other slaves. It also means that you can fight somebody for not believing like you believe, especially if they're a Christian or a Jew. So no, I don't believe that um, Islam is good for society. I don't believe it's good for black people.
Well, the fact of the matter is, like I said, not to be the dead horse, but it's always been good for black people. We've always been Muslims since inception, since 7/11 when the Moors conquered Spain. They were black Muslims, and we were the world. We ran the world as Muslims under Islam, the banner of Islam. So it's always worked for our people. That's not a matter of speculation or debate. We were Muslims before we fell to the Europeans, the Albions. We were Muslims. That's just a fact. I mean, you can try to do the shuffle, the Google Scholar shuffle, whatever, but you know,
Okay, it's my shuffle. You have of today. You still not show any proof that or any evidence or any good ideas why Islam would be for people. I have just
for our people, we've
showed
been Muslims since 7/11. Before
who.
that, black people have been ruling the world as under the banner of Islam for thousands of years. What are you talking about? Well, was it good for our people? We've been Muslims for thousands of years in history. What are you talking about? That makes no sense. Is Islam good for our people? Dude, we've been
It's not.
Muslims for thousands of years. Before we fell to the Albions, we were Muslims. What are you talking about?
What do you mean we were Muslims? When you said we were Muslims, what do you mean?
The Moors who conquered Spain in 7/11, and they got
That's
conquered in
not our people.
1492.
That's not our people.
That's not our people. Show them proof.
No.
Show them proof.
We are Western Central Africans. The Moors are not Western Central Africans.
That's bogus. That's bogus. In fact, that is totally bogus. Fact, um, yeah, that's bogus. Moors the court by Cheyenne the Liberator. He was famous for this video Morris in court, and he beat a big charge, whatever. And
As a matter of fact, Islam is actually responsible in a large part for
right,
the
so you cut me off. I
decimation.
was making my point. So actually, West Africa at the time of the slave trade was under the auspices of the Sultan of Morocco. The Sultan of Morocco had complete hegemony over West Africa. You aware of that?
The Sultan of Morocco was a Muslim, right?
Yeah, black Muslim. He had jurisdiction in West Africa. Jurisdictions. You know what I'm saying? So, well, the Moors were West African. That's bogus. That's bogus as well.
Bro, West Africa was doing okay before Islam came in. Islam is partly responsible for the decimation of West Africa because Islam were trading slaves out of West Africa even before the Christians came in. And what they did is that they used Muslim groups like the North Africans, like you're saying, to go and pillage the West African tribes and bring them back to Arabia and to Iraq and Syria as slaves. So don't make out like our people were just there chilling and decided to accept Islam. A lot of them, it was forced on them.
She's an excellent book she's a white girl called Black Jews and Black American Slaves. I forgot her name. I have her book. It's out of print now. She shows how, after the Jews got expelled, Moors got expelled from Spain. A lot of them came through the slave trade. So a lot of the blacks who came through the slave trade were actually exiled Moors from Spain. So what do you do with that? No way out of that.
Why is it that you always seem to go to the scholars who are on the fringes? How come you never quote any mainstream scholars?
Her book is out of print. It doesn't even exist no more. You probably got to get it on eBay. But she wrote a book called Black Jews and Black American Slaves.
Yeah, but that didn't answer my question one bit.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm saying, why is it that whenever you quote a scholar, it's always a fringe scholar? You never quote a mainstream scholar. Why?
Well, that's the mainstream scholarship is they have tenure. Tenure in the educational field means you can't be fired. So a lot of times when you're appealing to authority of mainstream scholarship, you have to remember a lot of these scholars have tenure, which means after a certain amount of years you can't be fired. So they have to appeal to authority. They have to bend and twist their morals to keep a job, if that makes sense.
No, that does make one sense that you're saying. If a scholar has tenure, that means they have the flexibility to say or do what they want. It's when you don't have tenure that you have to be careful what you say
That's
and
what a
do.
lot of mainstream
So
scholars are striving to get tenure, are striving to secure themselves. Like for example, Robert Kiyosaki wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad. His poor dad was a PhD who was trying to get tenure. He was broke. His rich dad was he never went to school. He was a multimillionaire. His poor dad was a PhD trying to get tenure.
If I may, fellas, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to wrap up. I just got a question apiece for both of y'all, and then I'm gonna let y'all close out. We can
go
do a
ahead.
part 2 to this because I think this was a good dialogue. That said, Rabbi Lewis, I'm gonna start with you. You said Aisha was a liar, right?
Liar?
Yeah.
Correct.
And you are a Muslim, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And we know that calling someone a liar is not it's not a term of endearment, shall we say. As a matter of fact, that would be pretty much an insult, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Isn't that against, for lack of a better term, because I don't know the terminology from Islam, but wouldn't that be against policy to speak against Aisha if you're a Muslim?
Yeah, I think I mentioned my teacher, Sheikh Selby, who disrespected Aisha, and they sent him to jail. So he actually had to flee to the UK.
And
Uh,
that,
le- um,
that
I can give some perspective on this, Brother Piank,
go ahead,
because
bro.
you see, the thing is, a lot of the questions that I would have, that I would want to ask him, I couldn't really ask him because I know he's just going to dismiss it. Because what happened, he's a Shia Muslim, and they have a different view from the Sunnis, which is most of what we are we're used to. So a lot of people may think I'm trying to tiptoe around him, or I don't know the questions to ask him. But that's because I know that he's a Shia, and so basically the Shias don't respect Aisha. As a matter of fact, there's one famous Shia scholar that said she was a whore. So they don't have any respect for her. But
Wow. Okay.
yeah, so I in when Rabbi Lewis is trying to do the gymnastics to try to defend that Aisha was older, he's not doing that out of respect for Aisha. He's trying to protect the reputation of Muhammad. So if you understand the difference between Shia and Sunni, the problem is the Shia have a lot of books and a lot of more crazy stuff, but because their stuff is still in either in Arabic or in Farsi, I think, then it's not in English. So we as people who don't speak the language, we don't have access to it. But what we have are mostly Sunni stuff, and if you bring that to Shia, he's just gonna say he reject that. So that's the issue. That's the main issue.
Got you. Got you. Rabbi Lewis, one more question. I apologize. How long was Muhammad and Aisha married?
That's a matter of speculation. You don't know. Allah knows best. I don't know the exact date. Certain scholars say different things because there's no date for Aisha. We don't
What
have a
what
date for
what
her
what
birth.
what do you say?
It was 10 years.
It was
According,
10 years.
according to what source? What
Yeah.
source is that? It says it was 10 years. You give me a
If you
source?
go to the Wikipedia and Aisha, it will tell you.
Okay.
You told me to
10
go to
years.
that earlier, right?
Yeah, 10 years. Okay. It was 10 years. I disagree with that. But go ahead, Pion.
So and the reason I asked is because it said that when he died, she was left, and I'm on Encyclopedia Britannica in case you got a problem with Wikipedia. It says when he died, she was left a childless widow at age 18 or 19.
Oh, okay. Okay. How many
So
wives did Muhammad?
hold on. What I'm saying is
Your
if they were
sources.
married for 10 years,
Okay.
that would make her 8 or 9 years old.
Correct. How many
Yeah.
wives did Muhammad have? Google
And
Scholar.
and
Muhammad probably had 13 wives.
How many children did he have?
Sons?
No, so altogether.
How many what?
Children did he have?
How many children?
Yes.
3.
No. 7. He had 11 wives, 7 children. But go ahead.
so she was born in 1614.
613 or 614, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
and in 627 she accompanied the prophet on an expedition, but became separated from the group, and she was later escorted back to Medina. So my point again in bringing this up is she was a kid,
she was.
and I'm just curious as to why Rabbi Lewis is trying to say she was anything but a kid. And so
Okay, I know we got to close out. So Muhammad loved children. There was a hadith where this dude had children.
no. What I'm saying is, walk with me, Rabbi Lewis. I'm just
Sure.
wondering if every mainstream Islamic scholar, except for those who, because again, you got to remember, back then this wasn't viewed as a bad thing, so they didn't care. They had no incentive to lie about it because it wasn't viewed as a bad thing. we look at it as a bad thing because we understand what pedophilia is now. And so my thing is, I'm asking you, what is your incentive for trying to cover this up or say that she lied? And like, what's the motivation behind it when just about every other mainstream scholar who studies the history of Islam, studies Muhammad's life, says that she was a child when he married her? What's your motivation for going in the other direction?
As I already said, I'm from the Shia sect, so we disagree with that hermeneutic.
The point is, he's just trying, like I said, to protect the reputation of Muhammad, because it's seen as something, especially in modern times, it's seen as something not good. And because he's a Shia, he have to believe that Muhammad was perfect. So if Muhammad was doing that, that's an example for Muslims in all ages, not just in that time. So he couldn't really condemn somebody who was doing that. No Muslim can condemn a person that marries a 6-year-old because Muhammad did it, and Muhammad is the perfect example for mankind.
All right.
You want to respond?
Me or him?
Do you disagree with that? That's what's happening?
No, bro. Bro, my book, just buy the book, bro. It's 99 cents, bro. She had a husband before Muhammad. This is an historical fact.
No, it's not a fact.
Of course it
Do you
is.
know what a fact is?
Hey, you at the floor. Thank you, Bianchi. Go ahead.
A fact is something that's not in dispute or can be proven to be a fact. You don't have any. You say you have a source that nobody has seen. We are showing sources that says otherwise. So you need to bring your source before you can say it's a fact.
All right, bro.
Well, Pianki, you have something else?
No, I think that's it. I think, like I say, I think a part 2 may be in order. I'm also gonna reach out to Iman Bashir. We were supposed to link up and do a show a while back, but we ended up losing touch. So I think that'll be somebody that'll be interesting for you to have a conversation with on Islam as well. And I think it'll be interesting to see if he and Rabbi Lewis line up in their
No, they
thought
don't,
process.
because Imam Bashir is a Ahmadiyya.
Ah, okay.
So he's a different
Okay.
Muslim.
So there you go. And so it seemed to me that, and Rabbi Lewis, you can respond to this. It seems to me that Islam is no different than any other religious sect or religious belief, in that it has multiple sects and multiple doctrines, multiple beliefs, and split offs, etc., where people get upset, branch off, get their own interpretation. It's no different than Christianity or Hebrew Israelites or anything else that people have to have faith in to believe. And so, with that being said, Rabbi Lewis, how are y'all different than Christianity when you have all of these different variations of this so-called belief?
He's muted.
Are you there, Rabbi Lewis?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry. Yeah. Well, how we different? What differentiates us from that? I mean, that's such a big question. There's always a big answer. But I think one of the main things is, I remember I was on with the Shield Squad, and Remy from the Shield Squad was. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
He was saying, if we had the zeal as Christians that the Muslims have, We go a long way as Christians. He was saying, the Muslims are so zealous that Christians should have the same fire. She was saying the same inspiration that the Muslims had. I remember gathering the Christ Church after 2009. They fled to Egypt, right? And I remember Rakashi said, you know what? I'm not a Muslim. I'm a Black Israelite, but these people certainly are descendants of Abraham. He said that. Like, these Muslims are so beautiful people. Can you guys hear me?
Go ahead, man.
They're such a beautiful people, and the houses are so in order. They're certainly descendants of Abraham. He actually said that he's a Black. He hates Muslims, and like I said, Remy said. I remember Remy telling me, "Yo, if we had, because he knows I'm a Muslim, he said if we had the same zeal that the Muslims had as Christians, we would go a long way, So even the Christians and Black Israelites are praising Islam."
Okay. I don't feel like you answered the question, so let me get a shot at it. The difference between Christians and Muslims is not significant. Basically, Islam is a response to Christianity. The Arabs at the time, they looked at Christianity, and the parts that they didn't like, they took out and added in some parts of Judaism and some other religions that they don't like. If you look at Islam, almost everything is Islam. In Islam comes from another religion. There's just a few minute points in Islam that you can say is original to Islam. Almost all of it is either from Christianity, from Judaism, or from the pagan Arab religions around. So the difference really between Christianity and Islam is basically that the Arabs, they looked at the part of Christianity that they did not like. They took that out and added the parts of other religions that they like. That's basically it. Because all the first Muslims were really Christians.
Okay. And because I just feel like what our people have done, like we have such a disdain for who we really are.
Mm-hmm.
We latch on to these other people. We want to make ourselves them for whatever reason. Like Muhammad is black. The Israelites are black.
Mm-hmm.
Anything not to be the little kid on TV with the big belly and the flower on their face, as if that's a portrait of all of Africa, because we didn't let these people brainwash us into thinking that all of Africa is that, as opposed, and so we don't want to embrace who we really are. We want to latch on to these books we've been studying our whole life, because that's one thing we can say. We know who these people are because every Sunday, every Wednesday, every Friday, we talking about Adam and Eve and David and Muhammad, David and Solomon and Jesus and Joshua and Moses. We talking about these people ad nauseum. These people who ain't got nothing to do with us. Nothing. We defend Israel in their practices as if they literally had something to do with us. These people ain't got nothing to do with us. My man, Rabbi Lewis, and like I said, I got love for the brother, but you sitting here trying to tell me Muhammad was a black man. You embrace Elijah Muhammad as the prophet of Allah, but you reject Fard Muhammad, who he says is Allah in the flesh. Bro, you got me, like, you confuse me every time you come on, bro. And I guess that's the beauty of you coming on, because you confuse me every time, bro. You gotta love it.
Yeah. And to add
Rabbi
on to what,
Lewis. Oh, go ahead, Google.
yeah, to add on to what you just said about our people making all these different people black. If you think about it, if we look at since I've actually been in this community or been listening on YouTube to all these different groups, I've basically realized that every single group of people on the planet is black. That there are no other people because um, the Israelites are black, the Arabs are black. I even had people tell me the Europeans were black, the Vikings were black. So some people tell me the Chinese, the original Chinese were black. So
Yeah,
at this point, I don't know there's any other type of people on the planet apart from black people.
yeah. That man, it's like I was listening to this debate last night with my man Jabari Osaze and the legendary Top Cat. And this dude is going on and on about the fact that he's an Indian. And he's
Hmm.
saying Indian, not understanding that the title Indian came from this monster enslaver, Christopher Columbus,
Hmm.
thinking he landed
In
in
India.
India. And so you giving yourself this name and as if this is what these people would actually call themselves, and you standing on it proudly. And he's calling Richard Allen and Absalom Jones and other Martin Luther King Jr.
Colonizers.
Not only is he calling them colonizers, he's calling them Pan Africans. Now, what have they ever said that is Pan African? But he has lumped them into being Pan. Somehow he has convinced himself that Pan Africanism is part and parcel to colonization. These are the hula hoops that we have to jump through mentally to convince ourselves that we are people who we ain't. We want to be everything but who we really are. It's a state of emergency in terms of having an identity crisis among our people. Like we are the sickest, the most unhealthy people. Like I keep telling people, like we can't even recognize that we done bought into the propaganda about this vaccine to where we are the people that's the most sick. And I'm like, did y'all ever stop to think that maybe, just maybe, the reason you keep hearing all this rhetoric about the vaccine being dangerous to black people is because they want to keep black people sick. Because whenever I walk past one of these places, the white folks is lined up to get this joint.
Yeah.
But we the ones talking about is poison. They doing it to poison. So even the black people that's in there administering it, they poisoning other black people. They in on it, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. I remember when the vaccine just came out and they were giving it in some black neighborhoods. And when you passed the Walgreens and stuff in the black neighborhoods, it was
Mm-hmm.
all white people in there because the black people didn't want to go take it. So the
Yeah,
white people is seizing the opportunity. So
yeah. We've convinced ourselves of these fantasy conspiracies that are to our detriment ultimately, and it's just bugging me out. And it's like it's no turning back with it. You can't convince Cap 10K, my man, that's my brother, but you can't
hmm
convince him that he is not the real Jew and that the people over there now are
the imposters.
imposters.
Yeah.
I don't know when they switched on them or when they replaced them, but they are imposters and we are the real Jews. My man Rabbi Lewis is like a jack of many trades because not only is he a Hebrew, but he's a Hebrew that's a Muslim.
But he said he was a Hebrew Israelite before, so I guess he's no longer Hebrew Israelite.
No. And Rabbi Lewis, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but he was born a Hebrew, but his spiritual tradition is Islam. But he's a Hebrew. Like the people that were enslaved in the transatlantic slave trade, those are Hebrews.
Oh, I didn't
Correct.
know that.
Correct.
That's
Yes,
your
correct.
take.
Break that down right quick, Rabbi Lewis, and then I'm gonna let y'all close out.
Yeah, so the slaves were Hebrews, correct. But I don't believe in the Bible. I mean, I believe the Bible's been tampered with. So,
But our ancestors that came over in the transatlantic slave trade were Hebrews.
well, the
right?
12 tribes of Israel, correct.
There you go. But
you
a Muslim.
That's correct.
So were you ordained a rabbi, or you just like the name?
No, I'm ordained rabbi. Before I took my shahada, I was on a rabbinical training.
Mm-hmm. So when did you stop believing the Bible?
Oh boy, probably about 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, you're
I can't
aware
make this shit up.
You're aware that Muhammad believed the Bible, right?
That's not true. But that's one of the top. That's not true.
Okay, that's fine. You're aware that he swore on the Torah and said, "I believe in thee and him that sent thee."
Sorry, say that again.
That Muhammad swore an oath on the Torah and said, "I believe in thee and him that sent thee."
Of course, the Torah he had at the time is not the Torah we have today.
So you're saying that in the 7th century there was a different Torah.
Yeah, the Torah
from
that Muhammad Sallallahu had is not the same Torah we have today. It's a different Torah.
No. This is news to me because are you aware that they have the Dead Sea Scrolls, which was way before the time of Muhammad, and it's the same as the Torah we have today. So how does Muhammad have a different Torah?
Okay, the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay. I'm a trained rabbi. I've written over 20 books on that topic alone. What do we have? We can do that in part 2. We do part 2 and we'll talk about that.
Okay, that's fine. We can do that.
All right. So y'all heard it. We're gonna eventually get to a part 2. Rabbi Lewis, close out. Let the people know what you got going on, book wise, finance wise, where they can find you, etc.
MashaAllah. My own name is Rabbi Lewis, aka Louis Islam. Excuse me, I had a head cold. But if you want to read my work, go on Amazon, type in my name, Rabbi Lewis. On Amazon, I read over 30 books. I got books on the finance. Check out my book, Home for Hustlers. We want to get into day trading, options trading. I'm a trainer. I'm a economic trainer, if you will. Thanks a lot to Bianchi, as always, brother. Always an honor, brother. And Google Scholar, man. It's an honor to speak to you, bros. It's an honor, man. Let's do this again.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Salute to my brother, Rabbi Lewis. He be driving me crazy, but that's my man. Google Scholar, close out. Let the people know where they can find you.
You already know I'm always here on Paradigm Shift TV. You can find me in the back chat, Paradigm Shift TV on Scripture Rippers in the back chat too. I'm on Facebook. I basically am here to debunk all these Abrahamic faiths to show that there's no truth to any of them, that they are all made up, and whatever I can do to show that, I'll continue to do that.
Hey, and I'm telling y'all, hey, Google Scholar is a bad boy. So whoever wants the smoke, hit me up. I'm gonna put you in the ring with him, but be careful what you ask for. So that's it, family. I'm gonna go up here and make love to my wife, who, even though I met her in the 2nd grade, I'm only a year older than her. So it is not pedophilia, unlike Muhammad and Aisha. So we're going to get up out of here, family. This has been Paradigm Shift TV 314. Until next time, that's peace. I appreciate you, brothers.
Peace.